Thank you. I would like to call the February 22nd Airport Commission meeting to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Susan, could you please do the roll call?
Chairperson Osonio.
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bigham.
Present.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
And Commissioner Juarez said he would be absent today. Commissioner McGregor.
Present.
Commissioner Schumacher.
Present.
Okay, consent agenda. There's the meeting minutes from December 21st to... Oh, is there any public comments? We generally don't have any public. Any public comments limited to 2 minutes per speaker?
Okay.
All right. Okay, consent agenda. We have the minutes from the December 2023, December 21st, 2023 meeting. We have the operations report, and we have the fuel flowage report for both December and January. Are there any changes, corrections, comments on any of those? Does anybody want any of those pulled for further discussion? Or can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
as
moved.
submitted?
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Shoemaker, okay, and seconded by Commissioner McGregor. All in favor? Or Susan, can you please call for the vote? Sorry.
Chairperson Osonio.
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett.
Aye.
Commissioner Bigham.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner McGregor.
Aye.
Commissioner Schumacher.
Aye.
Okay, consideration, Salinas Business Park LLC lease agreement for Mercer Way.
Good evening, Commissioners. If you haven't met me, I'm David Jacobs, Director of Public Works for the City of Salinas, filling in as interim airport manager. So this particular lease was started by Brett when he was here. It's been ongoing for several years now. But the recommendation is a motion from the Airport Commission recommending the City Council adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a ground lease agreement for APN 003-862-001 at the Salinas Municipal Airport and with Salinas Business Park LLC. And the property you see is highlighted in yellow there. It's out in front of the terminal building. It's been vacant for many years now. It's got a couple streets running through it. This is a plat map of it. Shows the streets surrounding it and the streets going through it. So the lease is a 50-year lease. And the property is 13.25 acres. The initial INRA, which is a negotiating right agreement, was first entered into in 2018. There's been 12 amendments basically extending the dates for the extension. It's now up in June 30th, 2024. So we'd like to get the lease signed and ready to go before we have to do another amendment to the INRA. The developer is proposing 229,000 square feet of distribution warehouse in the location. And the site will be developed per city codes and regulations. With that, I will take any questions. The developer is here also if you would like to ask him any questions.
Go ahead.
Yeah, from what I read there, there's no longer any need from the Public Works Department to use any of that land. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. Originally, we were looking at a land swap with the current location and to put the Public Works yard out here. The space constraints were really hard for Public Works to accept, and when the new city manager came on board, he agreed that it's probably not the best place for a Public Works yard. So we changed course on this particular project.
Thank you.
How many buildings will be on this property?
Is it 4?
Will it be one large building?
How many buildings?
So what we negotiated is that it could be up to 3 phases, so it could be a single building, 2 buildings, or 3 buildings, but it cannot exceed 229,000 square feet because there's a 40% floor area ratio. We can't go over that.
Okay.
So, and I'm Ralph Borelli, by the way, Borelli Investment Company, so I'm myself and Kay Swenson are the co-developers of the project.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Why did you choose this site and not other sites around the airport? Like why?
Why we chose this site?
Yes, why is this site chosen for development versus other sites around the airport?
So we started becoming active in this marketplace back in 2015. We developed a project called Garage Unlimited Monterey in Ryan Ranch, and then we built Monterey Motorsport Park, which is on Highway 68 adjacent to the Calvary Church. And some of my circle of business associates and that sort of thing told me years ago, said, Ralph, you need to take a look at Salinas. And I had never seriously come down to Salinas and take a look with it. And so 2 of the members of our brokerage team are here, Greg Findley and Mike Bassetti with Cushman Wakefield. And so we went and drove all the way around, and we couldn't find any sites that were suitable that could be built on. There's a lot of land here, okay? But from our analysis and our research, it wasn't buildable because it's prime ag land or that sort of thing. And the best site that we could find was this one. And this is back in 2017. Okay, so our analysis of this marketplace is you've got about 15 million square feet of space here and very little institutional quality product that exists. A lot of the space that exists, warehouse space, is built by users rather than spec industrial, and so you have leakage. You have users that are going to Gonzales or Hollister or elsewhere rather than here because you don't have the product. So that's why we like the site, and we think it's a good fit. We specialize in industrial development. We're based in San Jose. We're a 75-year-old company, and my partner Swenson is a 102-year-old company, and Swenson's been active here in Salinas. He was the general contractor that built the Taylor Farms building right downtown here. So we've got about 5 or 6 projects going on in Monterey County, and we believe in this marketplace, and we want to be here.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And I'll add real quick, and it's basically the only area within the airport that is developable as non-aeronautical use. We actually had to go to FAA so that they clarified that this can be used for non-aeronautical uses.
Any other questions or comments? No? No? So you want a motion from us to approve this so it can go on to what, City Council?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay,
Madam Chairman, I move that the Airport Commission recommend to the City Council to adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of this ground lease between the City of Salinas and the Business Park LLC.
Seconded.
okay, so motion moved by Commissioner McGregor and seconded by Commissioner Bigham.
Do you want public comment on this?
Okay, yes?
Go ahead.
Okay, we haven't voted yet, so,
Brett would like to make a public comment
Okay.
on this project.
Tell Brett.
Okay, Brett, I don't know if you can hear us, but you're on.
You got me up by the microphone?
Yes.
Hey, Commission, how you doing tonight?
we're good.
Hello, Brett.
So the reason this site was chosen was because it was separated from the airport operation area, so you have a fence line and a street between it. The FAA has already approved the release of the land and the aeronautical provisions, so it's signed off from the FAA standpoint. The revenue is supposed to be used for redeveloping the general aviation facilities, the north side of the airport. So the higher question is why we did this. It was to front load a cash poor situation where the airport doesn't have the means necessary to redevelop the north side of the airport or any other aeronautical facility. So this is to prime the pump to be able to do redevelopment on the airport. So it's a really good deal for the airport. Ralph Borelli is a good developer, and their development's going to take care of the future of the airport, enabling the enterprise fund to sustain itself.
Just redevelop the north side, what about putting in the infrastructure to the north side? Because that's the bigger issue.
What was the question, Earl? Can you speak into the
So she asked, just redevelopment, what about the infrastructure? Because that's a bigger issue, or a big part of the issue
On the north side.
on the north side.
It can be used for anything, infrastructure, redevelopment, it's all part of it. But that was the justification that we used to the FAA to get permission to release the land from its aeronautical obligations. The money's staying within the Airport Enterprise Fund, which is a good thing. It's nearly $250,000 when it's fully developed out over the 3 phases that the developer has. So it's really cash positive, development positive for the airport to move the item forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other? That was it? Sorry about that thing.
Any other public comments, questions? Go ahead.
If I may, as to the infrastructure, one of the reasons that this project has taken so long, we had COVID, okay? Then the city changed their mind on the Public Works build-to-suit. We had to go back through, we had to update the CEQA analysis, so that little stutter step took a couple of years. But a key part of the negotiation here on the economics of this is that we are going to do all the horizontal infrastructure, okay? The city is not doing anything. The airport's not doing anything. The original analysis by the city's, I guess the city, the airport went ahead and had a market study done, okay? And the market study said, okay, well, the rent ought to be this, and we think that the budget to do all the horizontal work was like $500,000, and I laughed when I saw that, okay? And our budget now for the horizontal work plus the soft cost is $10 million, okay? And we've spent probably $200,000 in civil engineering and all the other stuff that you have to do in order to properly define the scope of work. So we're taking that on, okay? And because it's a ground lease, we're never going to own the property. It's the city's property, okay? But we're going to have the rights to control and use it, obviously. That's why we're spending the money on the horizontal infrastructure. But it's a big, big number. And, we've developed well over 300 acres up in Silicon Valley, so I'm very familiar with what it costs to do this, and I'm not surprised by the number at all. Okay.
And how will you work with the airport, the air show, the International Air Show when it comes in September? Usually they have everything shut down.
I'm sorry. I've been racing cars for 50 years, and I've lost about 80% of my hearing, so you have to bear with me.
The California International.
The air show has reorganized the way they use the airport, and so this particular property doesn't need to be used for parking like it was in the past.
But what about traffic getting around?
That was something they would be aware that there are things going on at the airport, and some days or weekends they would be impacted.
Okay.
So that's part of the lease, letting them know that there is things going on at the airport that are beyond, what they're expecting.
Yeah. And one other point that I want to mention, that the configuration, there's that one ramp at the, I don't know if David, if you can put your little pointer on that. We redesigned the project so that we could take advantage of that ramp connection. So to the extent that Our brokerage team is able to generate interest from a user, occupier of space that wants that connection to the ramp. We're going to have that. So that's a very unique thing.
You're talking down here.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like perhaps Archer wanted to use that because Archer might be looking for more hangar space. There is access to the airport there.
Yeah, there's very few industrial development projects that have a connection to the ramp. You have it at Hollister with the airport there, but most airports don't have it. So, but we will.
Go ahead.
So you all may understand this more than I do since I'm new, but the end of Moffett Street, there's some open parcels there. Why were those not chosen? I'm just trying to figure out why this particular parcel on the airport versus end of Moffett.
I didn't even hear that. That's going to be me. So you were asking about parcels off of Moffett Street?
Yeah, the end of Moffett Street, you can actually see it in this picture here. There's like a L of open lots.
It's not city-owned property.
Okay.
It's not city-owned property?
Not that big a lot.
Okay. It's not city-owned property, so it would have to be an individual who owns that comes in to.
Okay.
do it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for clarifying that. 'cause
Thinking correct, you're talking about across from Coca-Cola. Correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is not city.
Okay.
That is not everyone on property.
So is there a reason why this developer, or really you've chosen to lease land instead of purchase? Like leasing land from the city?
Well, lease land instead of purchase land. So there's other vacant lands around there that you might have to be able to purchase.
Well, again, when we first came down to this marketplace and relied upon these two gentlemen, or their preeminent industrial and commercial brokers in your marketplace, I don't recall seeing that there was something that was available there. Otherwise, they would have brought it to my attention. We would prefer to buy rather than lease, but we understand that, the city doesn't have the opportunity to sell it because of the FAA regulations and that sort of thing. And that's another reason that this thing has taken so long. It took us 2 years to get the economics and the structure of the ground lease approved by the FAA. So it makes the financing more challenging on our end, but we're figuring it out. But that's just another one of the reasons why it took so long.
Go ahead, Mr. Finley.
You mind if I speak to that a little bit too? So, I'm Greg Finley with Cushman & Wakefield. So, I think Ralph's preference would have been to buy a large site, but the reality is, there are several vacant sites in the airport business park, but they're not really scalable. I think the important thing for his use is to get a scalable site where he can do large-scale industrial use. The site next to Coca-Cola is owned by Coca-Cola themselves. They don't intend to sell that. I've spoken with them out of Atlanta, Georgia. There are a couple of sites owned by Pam Mills. She's got 2 sites, approximately 4 acres, again, too small, and then a site owned by the Kabrinskis down there that's only about 2 acres. So the challenge is really finding a site that's kind of scalable to cater to those larger industrial users, and frankly, the sites that have been available or at least vacant haven't been large enough to accommodate a development of this magnitude.
Thank you.
And correct me if I'm wrong, in some of the future growth areas for Salinas, it would be building on what is now ag land, and you're opening up a huge hornet's nest. Right.
A number of the future growth areas are subject to annexation and a multi-year process, and a number of municipalities that all need to agree upon the same thing, and it's a challenging environment.
So.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay, so if there's no more questions or comments, anybody? There is a motion on the table. Can you read it back to us? Susan?
It is recommended that the Airport Commission recommend that the City Council adopt a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the ground lease agreement for 1341 Mercer Way, identified as APN 003-862-001-000 at the Salinas Municipal Airport with Small Business Park, LLC.
And are we ready to call for the vote? Okay, let's call for the vote. Susan, go ahead and call for the vote.
Call the roll.
Chairperson Osorio?
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett?
Aye.
Commissioner Bigham?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner McGregor?
Aye.
Commissioner Schumacher?
Aye.
Pass. Good luck. Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
It'd be nice to see something happen on that piece of property finally.
Sure would.
A lot of things have been talked about.
Thank you very much for your support.
You're welcome.
So what's next, Chairman?
Okay, so administrative report.
Okay, so we're going to give you a quick update of what's been happening at the airport over the last month or so. We did sign a lease with Archer to take over the old airport offices in the terminal. That was executed at the beginning of February. They are now working on the space and are going to soon occupy the space. Airport manager, we have external interviews starting tomorrow. So they'll pare it down and give recommendations back to the city, and then we'll do internal interviews once that's complete. Yes.
What is an external interview?
That's when, if you have, in the city's policies, if you have more than 3 applicants for a job, you get raters from outside the city to come in and interview them and give us a rating back. And then we take those ratings and we have internal interviews for them to make a selection.
Because I know several of us have expressed interest in being part of the process. So that would, I guess, be on the internal side.
Yeah, that would be the internal side, yes.
If you don't mind my asking, how many people are being interviewed?
I have no idea. Again, I don't get all the information until afterwards, and once the external interview process is done, then they give me the list of folks. And what they do is they band them. There's A band and B band and C band, and with A band being the most recommended by the external interview panel.
And who are these external people?
Yeah. So actually, Brett has volunteered to be on the external
That's good.
panel. So, and also the airport manager from Watsonville is going to be on the external, as well as somebody from the airport, the fuel. One of the tenants out there is going to be on the external as well. So since you expressed that desire, do you want to appoint somebody to that?
Well, if you could just maybe let us all know when it's going to be, I think it's kind of a...
Well, tomorrow is the...
Well, tomorrow we can't.
Tomorrow's the external. And then once the external's done, then we'll do the internal.
So
But I just need to know a name so that so we can work around that schedule, rather than saying, okay, I arbitrarily choose one of you to be on
No,
it.
if you could maybe once you set the date, let Susan know when those interviews are going to be, and maybe she can just let us know, and if it works in our schedule, we can show up. Can we do that? Do it that way?
I would rather only one person be there, because I don't want to have 6 people, 7 people doing interviews. It becomes very cumbersome.
Okay.
So, and it is a private interview process.
Okay.
You can't really let everybody know who these people are,
Okay.
because they have jobs to protect as well.
Okay.
So it is a confidential matter in terms of that. But I'm willing to say one of you folks can be on the interview panel. It's just a matter of deciding who that's going to be and letting me know. And maybe you want to say it's going to be on Thursday, whoever's available that Thursday, you can make that decision. But again, if we don't do it now, you guys might be arguing and causing a Brown Act violation in terms of deciding what that's going to be. So I think you should discuss it now and say, this person's going to be on that panel, and then this would be the alternative if that person can't be on that panel.
Since we don't know when the date is, I'm going to be gone.
I don't know what the date is
Yeah, I'm
either.
going to be gone.
They
the
haven't
first week of
decided yet.
March, so if it's like the first week of March, I would have to take myself out. So,
Well, I think we say this, we need to decide now who's going to be the guy, no matter what the date is, because they don't know when the date is.
that's what I'm saying.
You can appoint somebody.
Yes.
So
Who would
you can-
like to be there? So somebody will,
I feel like I have a conflict,
okay,
so I don't think that would be good.
okay. Hey.
Okay.
Bob, in or out?
I would be willing to be on it.
Okay, you have also some of the most
Experience.
experience as far as the airport goes.
I'm probably unavailable.
Okay. Available or not? Not, okay.
I'm available, so I can be alternate.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So it'll be
Bob
Bob
McGregor.
McGregor.
And Jim Schumacher.
And then
and Jim would be the alternative. Okay,
And my schedule's very much up in the air.
okay.
Okay.
And again, we'll let you all know when it's happening. It's just, like I said, I don't want to get into a conflict of discussion things outside
Okay.
the public here.
And Susan has all of our contact information.
Okay. And so continuing on my administrative report, the taxi lane project is out to bid, or actually will be out to bid tomorrow, with a bid opening March 15th. So you'll see the recommendation to award that contract at the April meeting. When's the March meeting? I guess I should look. March 20. Oh, actually, we'll probably try to put it on the March 28th commission meeting to recommend council award the project.
Wait, when was the bid date?
It starts tomorrow and it opens on the March 15th.
Oh, okay.
So then we would bring it back to the Airport Commission on the 28th for recommendation. We're also, well, I guess I can move on with my PowerPoint. We're also starting the airport preventive maintenance program. Airport tenants have been notified, so airport staff will be going out and looking at all the hangars and looking for different repairs that can be made. Anything that can be done at that moment or scheduled soon or easy to do will get done. If it needs to be a larger work program, then we would schedule that and possibly get contractors to get in. With that, that's my presentation, and our next meeting is on the 28th. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions on the?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you for the report.
So any other announcements or future agenda items? Next meeting is March 28th here. Any other public comments or? Okay. Meeting is adjourned at, God, like 6:28 and change. Thank you.
Well done, Diane.
Thank you.